Jay, you, me, K5 test drive. You in?
Of course I'm in. Let's go. Yeah, so hey, Austin, how's it going? We're in the K5 GT DCT in a beautiful red. So I'll go over some of the features first. We have a 10.25-inch display, D-cut steering wheel wrapped in leather with the leather shift knob as well. We have memory seating, cooled seats, and heated seats as displayed by here. We also have a heated steering wheel for the winter, and obviously your drive mode selector because this is a very sporty vehicle. Your climate controls are all here. It has Android Auto, Apple CarPlay by the wire, and a wireless charging pad right here. Here's the funny part about this. You can either have it like that, or you can have it fully down there. Enough talk, let's start driving. So, one of the greatest features about this K5 DCT is that it has heads-up display. So obviously you're going pretty quick in this car, right? The only thing is you don't really need to worry about it too much because you have your speed displayed on your windshield. It's pretty fluid. Handles nice, feels pretty good. Everything's awesome with the car. It also has Bose audio, so you can't go wrong with that. And for a vehicle like the K5, it's obviously the similar size to a mid-size sedan, but the beauty of it is that it's also labeled for performance. So obviously, with this vehicle, you're going to be wanting to drive it in Sport, but there's also Sport Plus, which turns off your traction. And it goes pretty quick. But there's turbo lag, so just be careful of that. If you need to know what the concept of turbo lag is basically the turbo takes a little bit of time to spool, and when it's spooling and putting your boost pressure in to give you more power for your engine, there's a bit of a lag and delay. Obviously, this can be negated if you put it into manual mode, and then you shift down, have the engine rev high, and it'll be a bit quicker. And with DCT, the shifts are very quick. We got paddle shifters here. You can also use the manual gear shifter there, and everything's good. But overall, the suspension stiffens up a bit. So if you're wondering why the car is so bumpy, well, it has to be a little bit stiffer because if you have a soft suspension while you're driving a performance vehicle, you're going to be swaying and going all over the place, which is not good. You don't want to be going all over the place. Overall though, ride quality in this car is amazing because when you put it to normal, obviously the engine gets nerfed, but it's very comfortable. It's a very good cruiser. You got 4 seats in the back, so all your buddies, you can go put all your golf clubs in the back of the trunk and just go have a few rounds. The greatest thing is it has highway driving assist, so it'll actually drive for you on the highway too. Now keep in mind when you're crawling in slow traffic, because it is a dual clutch transmission, it will feel a little jerky, but that's just the nature of how a dual clutch transmission operates. Instead of like an automatic or a CVT, where a CVT is belt driven and an automatic uses fluid and a torque converter to figure out what gear it needs to be in, dual clutch is similar to like a manual where it uses 2 clutches to separate which gear you need to be in. It's still automatic, don't get me wrong, there's no third pedal, but it's quicker when you're trying to go fast, but it'll also be a little bit jerky on the slower speeds. And in the wintertime, you also have front ventilated for the heat, you have rear ventilated for the rear, but you also have a wired windshield, so no more ice scraping in the winters anymore. The windshield and the wires will melt all the snow off. Just use your wipers once and you're good to go. Plus, this car comes with a hard remote start. In this day and age, I don't understand why car manufacturers, are putting their remote starts behind the paywall. I'm not going to name any names, but Kia is always having a physical button for your remote start, so you don't have to worry about that in the wintertime. Not to mention, the engine is backed with 311 pound-feet of torque to get you out of the snow, and also puts out an impressive 290 horsepower. This is all coming from a 2.4 cylinder inline 4 turbocharged. The design elements of the K5 are also very, very unique in the fact that the daytime running lights, instead of being white and an LED, it is amber with an LED instead. You also have LED lights on top of it, so even in the nighttime, this car is looking good at any angle. The heads-up display can display your media, so basically what music track you're listening to, your navigation directions if you ever choose to use navigation with it, and it also displays your speed and the speed limit of the current zone you're in. You also have blind spot detection in your heads-up display, so you can actually see if there's someone in your blind spot without having to take your eyes off the road in front of you. For highway driving assist, this is what I tell all my guests: activate the button with cruise control and then you're good to go. And then the active steering is on, the lane keep assist is on as well, and now we're just cruising. The distance meter is here too, and we can also adjust the speed. And it's also displayed on your heads-up display. And now, I no longer have to hold my hands on the steering wheel or drive the car. It'll drive itself. It'll take the priority of distance first, so the distance in front of the car first, then the speed. If I increase the speed to say, I don't know, 110 kilometers per hour, for example, on some parts of the QEW it is 110, it will then input the speed first, and then when it detects a vehicle in front of you, depending on the setting you put in, will be how far the vehicle is instead. Distance will always take over instead of the speed. The little indicator and icons in the dash, there's a lane keep assist and the steering assist function as well. The little purple dots are the distance, and HDA means highway driving assist is active, which means even in a corner like this, we'll be able to go through it no problem. Sometimes the car needs a little bit of help. It'll ask you for that by a quick message on the display, and then you're good to go. To show you how it handles in a corner. Obviously, being front wheel drive, the vehicle has a bit of understeer, but that's okay. Most things considered, you'll be all right just handling it out. Now, if you know what engine braking is, you just have to increase your gear to get it a little bit slower, and then all you have to do is just use the rotational force. I'm not applying any of the brakes, and the car is just staying down to the ground, and it handles beautifully at 50 kilometers an hour. And it's got punch. No problem. And you also have your garage home link button. So if you do have a garage with a remote, you have 1, 2, 3 button settings, and it'll also beep at you and tell you if it's activated. You also have roadside assistance via Kia Connect, and you also have SOS as well in case of an emergency, and you also have navigational directions here as well. The car is equipped with Sirius XM, so if you do like to listen to your radios, you can absolutely subscribe to it and have your car set up in that way too. And additionally, we have the panoramic moonroof, and it's fully automatic. And it's just so butter smooth. At 100 kilometers an hour, I'm sitting at 1500 RPM. And with dual pane and acoustic glass, you barely hear any road noise either. It's great if you're looking for something sporty, but you also have a family, or you're just carrying a lot of people. Whatever your decision is, this vehicle is very versatile and can be the right and the perfect fit for you. With your infotainment screen, to change all this, you also have active sound design. So basically, there is a speaker that plays the noise. However, if you're like me and you don't want to be too loud for your guests or your passengers, it's good for you, so you don't have to buy an exhaust. This is the company's way of saying, legally we can't give you a loud exhaust, but this is our thanks to you for purchasing a performance vehicle. You also have auto rain sensing wipers on this car, so basically you don't even have to worry about the rain anymore. You put it on auto, you adjust it by how much rain is coming down, and the vehicle will take care of itself. One of my favorite functions that people don't really like, but I personally like because sometimes, I'm driving a lot, is auto hold. There's a green button that comes up on the dash. You put your foot on the brake. I'm at 0 kilometers. I am no longer pressing my foot on the brake. It is very nice. It's very convenient for a feature. Something to get over, yes, and it's a little bit of change, sure. However, you know what? If it's going to save my leg for a little bit of time, no problem. And to go off, you just hit the gas pedal and then off we go. Visibility in the K5 is fantastic. I can see through everything. My only blind spot is maybe the A-pillar, but between that, I also have another glass here, and the windshield connection between it is big enough so that I can see when I'm doing hard corners on the track. This vehicle can be tracked if you choose to do so. Just remember to change your brakes and your fluids before you go on the track. Say you're doing things and fiddling around with all the gizmos and gadgets in the car, and then all of a sudden the car in front of you is going and you're like, oh, I gotta move. Car will tell you. It has a little thing in the tachometer where it will say leading vehicle is departing now. And with that, you can always remember, pay attention. Oh, and for lights, I can't stress this enough, everybody, and I don't know what it is, but new cars with all their dashes don't light up in the nighttime. You see that little auto? Leave it, set it, forget it. Put it on auto, don't touch it otherwise. That way, when you're driving at night, your taillights are also on, but also your headlights as well. One of the greater features of the K5 is having built-in navigation, so even if you cross the border, this is all good for North America. And let's say you went over the border and you had problems with your car, no problem. Kia's backed warranty with 5-year unlimited kilometers roadside assistance. And that's anywhere in North America. And this is a good time to show you our backup cameras. You have rear parking sensors, and you also have parking guidelines, and also the blue line is showing where your car will be at its final destination. While you're even driving off in slow mode, you can see it as well. And thankfully with these parking guidelines, it makes parking a breeze, even in tight spaces. And you also have, I don't know if you want to, but you also have a trailer hitch pump. You can always change the settings as well. And that's our drive. Thanks for coming by, Austin.